So I have a question for you, Your Excellency, about how does Saudi Arabia's investment in the tech sector is actually positioning the kingdom as a leader in the tech space.
First of all, it's an absolute pleasure to connect with some of the global leaders in this industrial revolution that we're witnessing, powered by Alat today. And Dr. Latif, if you allow me, before answering this question, let's zoom out a little bit to appreciate the global context. If we look at the headwinds that are happening today, predominantly international trade barriers are forcing us to move from globalization 1.0 to 2.0. So 50% of global trade is going to happen regionally. And if we look at the fair share from some of these amazing opportunities that Amit and team have highlighted, whether it's robotics, whether it's semiconductors, whether it's AI, these are trillion-dollar opportunities. Right. And the fair share for the region is anywhere between 3 to 5%, making it north of $50 billion. But today, we're definitely punching way below our weight, where we're capturing anywhere between 0.5 to 1%. And if you look at the tailwind, a general purpose technology just have taken place called generative AI, where the diffusion of this technology across industries is going to change humanity as we know it. Right. And this is a historic moment where once again, His Royal Highness is adjusting the sail between the headwinds and the tailwinds for the kingdom to emerge as a global contender in the technology supremacy. This is His Royal Highness. This is a story I shared 7 years ago in Barcelona, where I said 60% of the innovative material that goes into the smartphone is powered by Saudi Arabia. And it's actually the passive material. But this is His Royal Highness' vision right now for us to move into the active components. Okay. And we have to accept that within this industry, so let's take the iPhone for example, the battery might come from Japan, the camera might come from Samsung, or Dahua right now, we're in discussions with them. The memory might come from a different component. So within this revolution, this is His Royal Highness' vision to make sure that tomorrow is made better, powered by the kingdom, to make sure that the region captures the fair share. And in essence, Vision 2030 is about our opportunity to diversify the economy from a factory-based economy to an innovation-based economy, underpinned what I call right now the 3 technological forces. How we're moving from technology adoption to acceleration to actualization. So during adoption, under His Royal Highness vision, we have jumped as a tech force from roughly 200,000 to right now 354,000. So that's the talent movement, making it the loudest and the boldest reform story in women empowerment and youth empowerment in tech. Moving to acceleration, where we have jumped as a cloud node and an AI node right now, from shy of 7 years ago of 30 megawatts, today surpassing 200 megawatts, jumping into the half gigawatts point, where His Royal Highness Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman is planning to make it all green and renewable. But now moving into actualization. So instead of us talking about the passive components and the active components, why don't we talk about humanoid robots in partnership with SoftBank, about how we can have lights out manufacturing to manufacture these components? How can we move from trailing nodes in the semiconductor industry to leading nodes around the 20 nanometer mark, where we have a footprint not only in smart devices, but in the automotive industry, in which we have leading brands today when it comes to Lucid and Seer. And last but not least, in this whole AI movement, this is a unique opportunity for us to launch a giant that is AI native when it comes to product development, when it comes to innovation, to make sure we achieve His Royal Highness vision with Alat to make sure that tomorrow is made better.
Couldn't agree more, Your Excellency. Thank you very much. I will come back to you, Your Excellency, regarding the correlation now between one of the enablers, the innovation, and the manufacturing. So we have just heard about R&Ds and R&Is within the partnerships with the 4 companies. So how do you think, or how can Alat fuel those innovation in the kingdom?
Dr. Latifa, this is once again His Royal Highness vision under Vision 2030 to diversify the economy from factory-based to innovation-based, but not skipping the manufacturing-based economy. And this is why it's very critical for us to take some of the lessons learned about how some of the other nations have made that transition, fueled by talent and technology. And if we look at the secret sauce today for leadership in the generative AI era, it requires three things. It requires AI leadership, and His Royal Highness today is driving this rigorously. Secondly, it's more critically about the diffusion of these technologies across industries, both from a software and a hardware perspective. And it's the ecosystem that His Excellency have talked about, how industries, minerals, innovation, technology can come together led by the private sector, by Alat, to make sure that tomorrow is made better. So if we look at the innovation priority that His Royal Highness have launched, whether we're talking about healthcare and wellness, sustainability in the environment, industry and energy, or the future of economies, across the board, Alat has a unique opportunity to disrupt those industries and make sure that the kingdom and the region takes its fair share. So if I use the 3P architecture when it comes, for example, to semiconductors and electronics, in essence, you can boil them down to power, how we can make devices come alive, like wearables within the healthcare and wellness, how we can perceive the world with Dahua CCTV cameras and the great AI vision that they're gonna build, and last but not least, how we can process, how we can think and act when it comes to these devices. So within healthcare and wellness, in any particular moment, so let's take the ICU room, you would have anywhere between 9 to 13 devices that are not interoperable. They don't talk to each other. So how we can make the clinical workflow optimization work for the healthcare system. This is where an opportunity for Alat, leveraging its build, partner, and acquire strategy, how we can address it. If we look at the sustainability, we have been doing an amazing job on the passive. So on the plastics when it comes to the wind turbines and the PV, but how can we increase the technological intensity into batteries, to pivot also to automotive, to pivot into other industries? And let's not forget that most of the critical components that make up the automotive industry and the EV industry is the battery, where it consumes 40% of the value. Moving on to energy and industries, and His Excellency will definitely allude about some of the specifics we're going after together. So the semiconductor industry, we have realized that you have predominantly 3 types of nodes. You have the trailing nodes, mostly they serve at the analog world. Then you move into the leading nodes within the digital space, and this is the sweet spot that Alat will definitely make some announcements soon that are going to be announced by Amit, Ross, and the team. And last is the advanced node. This is the vision moving towards closer to 2030. So within that space, there are 3 to 4 critical JVs that were announced, and let me conclude with them. One, we do appreciate that smart cities will never work without the power, perceive, and processing capabilities. And with Dahua's JV today, we'll be able to improve challenges like traffic management, where we appreciate how CCTV can help us manage and regulate traffic, can improve conditions by 30%. Moving to robotics, we appreciate that you can only achieve lights-out manufacturing with humanoid robots that have the ability to assemble even critical components within the smartphone. Let's remember both on the passive and the active. And last but not least, when it comes to AI, we have seen it across the board. So if you see the dot-com bubble, you saw hardware influx, then software. The iPhone moment of 2007, hardware, then software. This is our critical component where we're saying in the hardware play, we're coming with a serious play, and soon enough within PIF, you're going to even hear about more of another software giant to complement making sure that the ecosystem effect under His Royal Highness in the generative AI era, we're definitely making tomorrow better.